Hello and welcome to the fifth of my Interfacing's Critical Diary vlogs. My name is John Garrett and the subject of this vlog is the ways in which the world might work. The process that I will use is as follows. I will first address the reading for this particular subject, including the specification from the module guide and any quotes that I have highlighted from the primary reading. Next, I will discuss the reading and its examples and how I interpreted them. Finally, I will highlight some of my cohort's examples and examine my example and its overlaps and connections. For this, the final taught session of the module, we were asked to suggest an example of text or source material that might be included in the bibliography of the module Interfacings. To this end, the reading was the suggestions from the cohort, and the following items will be discussed in this final vlog. So Lucy suggested Discourse and Models of Intermediality by Jens Schrottner. Ryan suggested George Orwell's 1984 Chapter 4. Emma suggested an interview with Gregory Crewdson conducted by Anna Holtzman. And I suggested John Cage's Fontana Mix from 1958. So turning to Lucy's suggestion, which was Jens Schrottner's paper, is extremely interesting as it breaks intermediality down into four sections: synthetic intermediality, formal intermediality, transformal intermediality, and ontological intermediality. Schrottner cites Gesamtkunstwerk in the first section, which is a concept used by Richard Wagner. It translates loosely, or translates into English as total work of art, and this may be the root of the 1970s footballing term total football, which was a moniker given to the all-winning Dutch team that was captained by Johan Cruyff. Of even further relevance to my recent paper on dementia as a portal into creative ontology, Schrottner cites the avant-garde artist Dick Higgins in this first section of the text, who says he demands of the avant-garde that they should convey holistic mental experiences in the avant-garde art, which supports my contentions in my essay. Also of interest in this paper, Schrottner contention that all media was originally intermedial, and that it is only the categorization of artistic media that has set different parts of the arts aside from one another. Now turning to Emma's suggestion, which was the interview with Gregory Crewdson. In this interview, Crewdson explains his practice and methodology. Put simply, he creates hyper-real images which are comparable to film stills in ultra high definition. These photographs are often of mundane scenes set in small-town America in the 50s. The method of production is complex and costly and labour-intensive, is as labour-intensive as a motion picture. However, the outcome is one image instead of many thousands, and it's clearly a commentary on American life, maybe even up-to-date American life. Thirdly, we looked at Ryan's suggestion, which was to look at George Orwell's 1984. Having read 1984 about 30 years ago, it was refreshing to critique it again. My previous experience of the novel was to read it out of choice, but I found it quite arduous. However, 30 years on, and with the benefit of hindsight, it is clear that Orwell's prophetic talent was second to none, and that this text is more appropriate today than it ever was. One footnote to this conversation was the debate about how reading this kind of narrative when you're very young can turn you off of literature for life. Finally, I put forward Fontana Mix by John Cage. This work is still available in its original form from the university's library. It consists of 10 transparent sheets with random dots on them and 10 paper sheets with random lines on them, plus 2 further transparent sheets with a grid on one and a straight line on the other. It was used by Cage to create pieces of sound art or chance music by overlaying the sheets and using the grid and the straight line as referencing points as a completely experimental artwork could be created, I would suggest that this could be done in any type of media. As this piece was constructed in the 50s, it was clearly at the forefront of the Fluxus movement, and it predates 4 minutes 33 seconds by Cage. Therefore, it could be seen as a point of rupture between where the Western canon starts to disassemble itself and music and fine art start to converge. The links here are of 2 videos that explain the Fontana mix in more detail and how an exhibition of one of Cage's compositions was curated at Tate Modern. Thank you very much.